The representatives-elect and their guests will please remain standing and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
We elect our government officials to represent us. And when they're in office, we need to know that they are responsive to us, to our needs. People often comment that they can't figure out why Congress or a state legislature is failing to take action on something that polls show 85% of the citizens want. The answer to that question goes back to transparency. Transparency is a key element of our election system, of our democracy. The reason it's so important is it enables us to know who is spending money in elections and therefore who candidates may be beholden to, particularly if it's large sums of money from special interests, meaning people who want something out of government. Voters have a right to know who is trying to influence their vote and who is working to influence our government. It makes a difference when we see an ad that's paid for by Americans for a Better Country or some other innocuous name, if we know, is this an oil company? Is this a labor union? Is this a hospital association? If they're out trying to elect candidates or they're attacking candidates trying to defeat them, it helps us judge the ad to know who is spending the money to try to convince us of their point of view. Transparency is an important part of the values of our First Amendment. The First Amendment guarantees the right of political speech, and that means political conversation, a public place where people can communicate with each other, exchange views, and the rest of the citizens can hear that exchange, that debate. Historically, both parties have supported transparency to fight corruption and so that voters have the information they need to judge public campaign advertising. Going all the way back to the Watergate reforms, a key element supported by both parties was full disclosure of contributions to candidates and the identities of independent spenders. The Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United allowing unlimited independent spending has resulted in a disconnect between the old rules that said all spending has to be disclosed and this new system we have where there is a lot of so-called outside spending that occurs without full disclosure. One of the great problems we have today is that voters are concerned about political corruption. They understand that having a wealthy special interest able to spend unlimited amounts of money that the voters don't know about is inherently corrupt. And therefore voters in every poll by wide margins support full transparency in campaign funding. What we need is a clear requirement that all spending in elections be disclosed. Real transparency about who is spending big money on elections will mean more government accountability, less influence for wealthy special interests, and less political corruption.